That's Nick.
And that's Joseph. And today we're here to talk about Night's End, the sophomore film directed by Jennifer Reeder, which premiered at the 2021 FrightFest Glasgow. And Shudder is releasing it March 31st, 2022 on their streaming platform.
We're a little tardy to the party.
It's okay, there's a lot going on.
I was present for this film, but I was working on something else, so I'm not fully aware of the story. And I thought this time we'll do something different and have you describe the basic story.
Well, we're going to have problems, I bet.
This is going to be a rough one. Well,
It's actually very straightforward.
Here, how about this? I mean, I did watch most of it.
This is how also us driving anywhere goes.
How do you mean? Oh, that I'll take over? Well, you're not allowed to drive anyway.
I do have a valid...
You have a car and you drive yourself, but you don't... If I'm in the car, you're not driving.
Joseph is a very slow, careful driver.
Yes.
I have places to go.
All right. Good thing we have life insurance on you. It revolves around a gentleman named...
Ken Baker.
And he appears to maybe be agoraphobic.
Mm-hmm. Yes, he's a shut-in. That's what all the press materials call him.
Right, which seems kind of dismissive, but he has a YouTube channel.
That he's just started. He's moved into a new place, a new city, doesn't say where.
After leaving a relationship where he has children. Mm-hmm. So he is making YouTube videos that seem to revolve around an array of topics.
Yeah, he's giving like hot tips on being a divorced dad. And, life tips.
And we get a lot of exposition via Zoom calls or video calls he has with his best friend played by...
Felonious Munk.
When one day his best friend is like, hey, I watched your recent video and like, what was up with that bird that just randomly fell off the shelf behind you? Because the main character has like taxidermied birds. And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Well, watch the video. Let's see. And you see this bird sort of move off of the shelf. And then that sort of snowballs into he thinks his house is haunted or his apartment. There's a very popular...
He buys a book on ghosts and the author of that, Colin Albertson, played by Lawrence Grimm, reaches out and does some research for him. It turns out there was this woman that killed her dad there, and then this young girl was then killed by her mother, and both of these spirits... are now trying to get back in and to the realm from the astral plane. And there's something called an apparatus called a spirit jar that he's learned about from him. And by Ken opening that spirit jar, he's invited one of the spirits back in. So things are starting to happen.
Okay. So there is a very popular YouTuber who does like paranormal videos. Like every video gets millions of views. And that is...
Called Dark Corners.
Dark Corners. And... the main character's best friend says, why don't you submit some of these weird videos that you have of weird things happening, submit it to Dark Corners, they'll make a montage video, post it on their channel, and then you'll go viral. So then a big bulk of the film is sort of the Dark Corners person recording a video with him and all this creepy stuff happening.
That's the end. That's the denouement. That's the final act when that happens. But
and then how does it end?
Well, it turns out that Colin Albertson is conjuring some greater evil entity that he releases, I guess, with a spell via Zoom into Ken's apartment when they have one meeting. And then during this final exorcism, that spirit comes and takes over everybody that's on the Zoom call and then presumably everybody in the neighborhood based on the final shot.
Oh, wow. What's the movie? It was actually a really good movie, and I believe it was only like 50 minutes. Host. That's a good movie about hauntings on Zoom.
So Jennifer Reeder's first film was called Knives and Skin, which premiered in Berlin in 2019.
Oh, I like that title.
And it was a good film. It's kind of a teen film noir, and she's got an interesting mix mash of genres. She also contributed to that omnibus film VHS 94, which I think we reviewed.
We did.
So this is very clearly a COVID movie, a COVID Zoom movie. So I don't know if this is a fair testament of Jennifer's skills because it's so limited with everything, but it's fun for what it is.
I will say, up until the Dark Corners guy pops up, I was into the story. Like, it felt more serious, but then the Dark Corners guy is this sort of like queer black guy who
Oh, it goes totally apeshit bonkers in the final scene.
Because then there's the guy who's like looks like he's doing like a Vincent Price thing.
That is Lawrence Grimm playing Colin Albertson.
And then when they do their big Zoom call together towards the end, there's like another interesting I just feel like the casting made it feel kind of like a joke.
Sure. Up until then, I would say it's interesting, a little dry. I think Felonious Munk is doing a lot of heavy lifting to supply entertainment and like goading his friend on.
I was into it up until...
Sure.
Yeah.
Geno Walker plays Ken, is it Barber or Baker? I can't read my notes. But he's clearly this very lonely man that's struggling. And his cockeyed idea about, because he doesn't have a job and he needs income, so he's going to make money off of YouTube. It takes a little bit of time to make money off of YouTube. And then his ex that he zooms with quite a bit, Kelsey, played by Kate Arrington, she is now dating a man named Isaac, or married to even, played by Michael Shannon, and they're a real life couple.
Oh, that's right.
Michael Shannon seems to be having a lot of fun. This exuberant man that's kind of egging Ken.
I totally forgot he was in this movie.
I could have done almost with a little more of him. He was a nice spice in this, unlike how he was used in Nine Perfect Strangers. That's all fine and dandy, but then this last exorcism where it's like, clearly they don't have the special effects needed. But I did make you watch one scene because Lawrence Grimm sends Ken...
You were very amused by it.
I was very amused.
The payoff was not there for me, but go ahead. I'm glad that you're enjoying it.
Lawrence Grimm is a very camp... It is very Vincent Pricey. Maybe that's why I liked it so much, but he is hamming it up. He sends...
the spirit jar.
His spirit jar to Ken, because, he has insidious intentions. But his spirit jar looks like one of those this big protein powder jars with a bunch of ancient symbols shellacked on it. Anyway, he gives him a velvet bag with some items in it. He's like, take out each item from the bag and tell us what it is. It's like, oh, I got a purple rock, got part of a mirror. And then he's like, and next? And then he unwraps this thing in saran wrap and he's like, it's your thumb. He holds up this bloody stuff. He's like, it's my thumb. I thought that was so, because everybody's just like...
The gag's not there for me, but go ahead.
Because I don't know, why would you keep watching? Or maybe that is why they did. But yes, it's ridiculous and not that charming, but interesting.
What else you got there?
I think that's about it. Screenwriter's named Brett Neveu. So Jennifer Reeder, it's not her own screenplay. There have been a lot of films about agoraphobic people lately, I think because also of COVID-19, A Relationship to the World, Kimmy from Steven Soderbergh, recently The Woman in the Window, which was before the pandemic that came out. So I don't know that this will be remembered to any degree, but if you like any of the people in it, it's fun.
What would you give it?
Oh, 2.5.
Anything else?
No.
Bye.